Zynga has agreed to purchase Empire's Puzzles developer Small Giant Games. The company will initially acquire 80% of Small Giant, a $560 million, comprised of $330 million in cash and $230 in unregistered Zynga common stock. It will then purchase the remaining 20% over the next 3 years at valuations based on specified profitability goals. For those unfamiliar with the name, Small Giant is the Helsinki-based mobile studio behind Empire's Puzzles, a match 3 battler that features additional elements like base building and social alliances. Since being launched 18 months ago, the game has repeatedly broken into the top 10 grossing charts in the App Store on Google Play, and has racked up over 26 million downloads. Zynga believes Empire's Puzzles has the ability to become a forever franchise, and claims the deal will also allow it to expand its own game pipeline. We have been impressed by the quality and momentum of Empire's Puzzles, as we add another forever franchise into Zynga's portfolio, said company CEO Frank Schiebel. Small Giant has created an innovative game that delivers a unique player experience that engages over the long term. We are excited that Small Giant is joining Zynga as they enhance our next phase of growth. The Gamasutra job board is the most diverse, active and established board of its kind for the video game industry. Here is just one of the many positions being advertised right now. Location: Woodland Hills, California. Infinity Ward, developer of numerous award-winning games, is seeking a first-person weapon animator with experience in game development and passion for first-person shooters. Job duties include qualifications. Applicants must provide samples of prior work, including at least one first-person weapon animation. Interested? Apply now. Whether you are just starting out, looking for something new, or just seeing what's out there, the Gamasutra job board is the place where game developers move ahead in their careers. Gamasutra's job board is the most diverse, most active, and most established board of its kind in the video game industry, serving companies of all sizes, from indie to AAA. Looking for a new job? Get started here. Are you a recruiter looking for talent? Post jobs here. Gamasutra editor Alex Worrell continues our annual series of year-end roundups by looking back at some of the big events that shook up the game industry in 2018. A lot of long-simmering game industry issues boiled over in 2018, as we noted yesterday. While looking back at the trends that defined the games business this year, many longtime studios executed big layoffs or shut down entirely. Unionization in the game industry is a hot topic again, and in 2018 game workers unite coalesced and seemed to focus years of chatter into meaningful statements and action. After years of giving chase, French media giant Vivendi finally gave up on trying to acquire Ubisoft and sold off its entire stake in the company to, among others, Ubisoft, Tencent, and the Ontario Teachers' Pension Plan. Iconoclasts finally came out. 2018 was a long one. Before we put it behind us, let's think about which bits we will still be talking about in the year ahead. Telltale Games was not the only studio to fall this year, but it was among the biggest and the most beloved. Despite clear signs of trouble, including reports of a toxic work environment, a big round of layoffs last year, and a legal fight with ousted Kevin Bruner, it was still a shock when Telltale initiated its majority studio closure in September, effectively laying off over 200 people with no warning and no severance. They were not alone, either. Telltale's sudden shuttering happened within days of Capcom Vancouver closing and Big Fish laying off over 100 people, meaning the game industry lost 2 big studios and over 500 jobs in the course of a week. In retrospect, this seems a particularly bad year for mass layoffs in the game industry. While Skybound Entertainment works to finish up Telltale's final working, that game with at least some of the original developers, the once beloved studios broke down and failure to pay workers what they are owed, inspiring at least one class action lawsuit. Drove many to ask, will TDLTALASFAILURA be a catalyst for industry reform? This year, Steam's polite dominance of the PC games industry appears shakier than ever, seen perhaps most clearly the week Valve announced it was formally creating new rev-share tiers that give big sellers a break by cutting its take on big earners. The standard 30% take drops to 25% on all post-September earnings over $10 million and 20% over $50 million. Valve seems to be making a serious play to keep top game makers from taking their work elsewhere in the years ahead. This has never been more viable, now that multiple publishers, including Bethesda, Ubisoft and Electronic Arts, and it comes right as Epic and Discord, are opening up their own online game marketplaces with much better rev share rates. Most importantly, Valve is making this concession to big game makers, even as smaller devs continue to struggle with discoverability problems in a market overflowing with remarkable games. Low-profile or niche games can easily get lost in the mix, especially when Valve is tweaking Steam's recommendation algorithms in ways that drastically affect some devs' earnings. Once upon a time, just getting your game on Steam meant nearly guaranteed sales success. Now, most devs could be forgiven for seeking greener pastures in which to launch their next game. Loot box reward systems have been a thing in games for years. But after the Battlefront imbroglio of 2017, they caught the attention of media outlets outside of games. Fast forward to the end of 2018, and they are now firmly in the sights of gambling regulators around the world, with countries like Belgium and the Netherlands branding them a potentially illegal form of gambling. This has already caused devs like Valve, Square Enix, and Net to modify or stop selling games in those regions, and it's likely that more devs will be impacted in the new year as the U.S. Federal Trade Commission commits to investigating lootbox monetization schemes and their influence on young players. Talk of unionization in the game industry is nothing new, but action remains a rarity. Not so this year, when the United Kingdom chapter of Pro-Union, a vast group game Workers Unite signed on to become an official branch of the Independent Workers Union of Great Britain, effectively creating the UK's first game dev union. It's a NOTABLASTEP forward for game industry labor activists, and it showed 5 devs a first opportunity to observe what, if any, effect organizing can have on your local game industry. This is important because practical examples of organized labor in this business are still rare, though some do exist, and it caps off a year of reinvigorated conversations about unionization in the game industry. Game Workers Unite has been a driving voice in those discussions all year, at least since the unionization roundtable at DD. But the focus has been on how to curb the game industry's predilection for precarious, high-pressure jobs that burn people out and push them into other fields at a steady clip. After a year filled with big layoffs, and high-profile stories of toxic, mismanaged, are just plain poor work environments at various game companies. But the internet, a ROCKSTARATL. Those discussions are sure to continue, and the UK's first game industry union is likely to play a key role. The continuing successful FFORTNITEBATTLE Royal has pushed developer Epic Games in some surprising directions, most notably towards backing the strongest Steam competitor to date in launching its Epic Games Store with an 88 billion LFTHS revenue share split across the board. The company made a specific pitch to devs: "We can take care of you better than Steam can." While some devs do not buy it, the evidence is compelling. Fortnite claims over 200 million registered players across all platforms,